Hello, I'm Thomas D and I've been joined here by Rob Cockrell. We've been seeing a lot in the news about a CO2 shortage, so why is CO2 important?
Well, Tom, CO2 is used in a whole range of applications. Those that are most applicable to the public, shall we say, or the average consumer, would be in the food and beverages business. Here we're talking about its use in the poultry sector. It's used in, obviously, carbonating all manner of drinks, from sparkling wines and water to pulling a pint at the pub. And there are other aspects as well that are perhaps less known about. CO2 can be used in modified atmosphere packaging. So when you're having your crumpets on a Sunday morning, you open that pack, they've been preserved with a modified atmosphere. So there's a range of uses, and that's why it's of such interest to the public at the moment.
So where do we get CO2 from?
Well, it varies by region, but here in the UK and Europe, it's traditionally a byproduct of ammonia production, and that's coming from fertiliser plants. It's always a byproduct of those kind of other processes, and that means it's always at the mercy of those feedstocks as well, so that can create some supply chain dramas.
So is there currently really a problem with CO2, and how have we got here?
Well, there's a lot of headlines, as we're all aware. I think there's quite possibly some misconceptions as well around that, in terms of how much CO2, certainly in the UK, is derived from those fertiliser plants. Yes, we do have a tightening in the markets. We're just coming out of a tightening in the markets in the UK. We do have a situation looming, but we do also hope that that can be mitigated. And the industry is very adept, it's very agile. It learned a lot of lessons from the CO2 crisis of 3 years ago. So we are hopeful that we'll find a way out of this.
So how do we get to this current situation?
Well, Tom, clearly we're all aware of the soaring natural gas prices. That's most likely going to affect the consumer in the pocket with their gas bills, but it's the ripple out effects throughout the economies and the industries that we're most focused on. So here with CO2, the impact is seen. Those natural gas prices are affecting ammonia production and those fertiliser plants I mentioned. That makes it uncompetitive for those companies to keep those plants running and operating. When they bring those down for any period of time, we then see an impact on the CO2. CO2 is a byproduct of ammonia production. Therefore, when those plants are down, we see a lag in the supply chain, and we could see some CO2 taken off the table.
And finally, with the poultry and food and beverage market reliant on CO2, is Christmas cancelled?
No, Tom, you're not going to hear that from me. I don't believe Christmas is cancelled. I do believe that we have some perhaps misleading headlines out there at the moment, and as I said, some misconceptions about the supply chain. I know the industry, having spoken with companies, the industry is working very hard to mitigate any of that impact.
Rob, thanks very much for your time. To stay up to date on all the latest news, visit gasworld.com.